You ever check your bank account and think, wait, where did all my money go? Like, you didn't buy anything big, no new phone, no vacation, no insane shopping spree, but somehow you're still broke. It's the $4 coffee, the $9.99 subscription you forgot about, the $17 quick food delivery because you were tired. And individually, none of those feel like a big deal. But together, they're quietly draining thousands of dollars from your life every single year, and most people never even notice. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about how tiny financial decisions quietly control your entire life. If you're someone who feels like you should have more money saved but can't figure out where it's going, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Here's the thing. Most people think their financial problems come from big decisions, buying a car, taking out a loan, getting a mortgage. But that's not actually where most of the damage happens. The real problem? It's the small, repeat purchases that fly completely under your radar. And this is backed by data. According to a study by Acorns, Americans spend an average of $3,000 per year on impulse purchases alone. Another report from CNBC found that the average person spends over $200 a month on subscriptions, and nearly half of those are things they don't even use regularly. That's $2,400 a year for stuff you barely remember signing up for. Look, that's not a budgeting problem, that's a visibility problem. So today, I want to show you something ridiculously simple. It's called the $1 rule. And no, it's not about being cheap, it's about being aware. Here's how it works. Every time you're about to spend money, you ask yourself one question. If this cost $1 more, would I still buy it? That's it. That's the entire rule. And I know it sounds almost too simple, but this is where it gets really interesting. Here's what most people don't realize. Your brain is terrible at evaluating small amounts of money, like objectively terrible. Behavioral economists call this mental accounting. We treat money differently depending on the category. So spending $20 on food feels normal, but spending $20 on a random app, suddenly we hesitate. Same money, completely different reaction. Now layer in something called friction. When something feels easy, you're more likely to do it. And modern spending is designed to remove friction. One-click purchases, saved credit cards, subscription auto-renewals. You don't even feel the money leaving. So your brain stops treating spending like a decision and starts treating it like a reflex. The $1 rule reintroduces just enough friction to make you pause. It forces your brain to ask, do I actually want this, or am I just on autopilot? Because here's the truth. If something is worth buying, then it's still worth buying for $1 more. But if adding $1 suddenly makes you hesitate, that's a red flag. Real example. Let's do the math. Say you buy coffee 5 times a week. Each one costs $4. That's $20 per week, about $80 per month, roughly $1,040 per year. Now apply the $1 rule. If that coffee cost $5, would you still buy it every time? For most people, the answer becomes, maybe not every day. So instead of 5 coffees a week, you cut it down to 3. Now you're spending $12 per week, $624 per year. That's a savings of over $400 just from one small habit, and that's just coffee. Now imagine applying this to food delivery, online shopping, subscriptions, random treat-yourself purchases. Let's say the $1 rule helps you eliminate or reduce just $10 of unnecessary spending per day. That doesn't sound crazy, right? $10 per day equals $3,650 per year. Now invest that money instead of spending it. Assume a modest 7% annual return. After 10 years, that's over $50,000. After 20 years, now we're talking about $150,000 from tiny decisions. This is where it gets really interesting. Because the $1 rule isn't just about saving money, it actually rewires how you think about value. You stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, is it worth it? And those are two completely different questions. Let me give you a quick example. A friend of mine used to order food almost every night, not because he couldn't cook, but because he was tired. And look, we've all been there. So one day, he tried this rule. He opened a food delivery app, total came out to $18, Then he asked himself, if this were $19, would I still order it? And he paused, because suddenly it didn't feel like convenience anymore. It felt like laziness. So instead, he made something simple at home, nothing fancy. But over time, that one small change saved him nearly $2,000 a year. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Jack, but I don't want to live my life overthinking every dollar. And yeah, that's fair. This isn't about turning into someone who stresses over everything. It's about becoming someone who spends intentionally. Because right now, most people are doing the opposite. They're spending emotionally. Look, money decisions are rarely logical. They're emotional. You buy things because you're bored, because you're stressed, because you want a quick dopamine hit. And companies know this. That's why everything is designed to feel easy, fast, and rewarding. But the problem is that feeling fades, and the money, that's gone for good. Think of your finances like a bucket. Most people assume they have a big hole at the bottom, but in reality, it's dozens of tiny leaks, and each one seems insignificant. But over time, though, they drain everything. The $1 rule doesn't plug one big hole. It plugs dozens of tiny ones. So how do you actually use this? Here's a simple system. Step 1, apply it to automatic spending. Start with areas where you don't think. Coffee, snacks, online shopping, food delivery. These are your biggest opportunities. Step 2, pause for 3 seconds. Before buying anything, just pause. Ask, if this cost $1 more, would I still buy it? That pause is everything. Step 3, track what you skip. For 1 week, keep a note on your phone. Every time the $1 rule stops you from buying something, write it down. You'll start seeing patterns. Step 4, redirect the money. This is crucial. Don't just save it. Actually move that money into a savings account, an investment account, or paying off debt. Because money sitting idle gets spent. Money with a purpose gets multiplied. The compounding effect, or mindset shift. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to make more money to get ahead. You need to stop leaking it. Because every dollar you keep reduces stress, increases flexibility, builds momentum. And momentum is everything. And look, I'll be honest, most people won't do this. Not because it's hard, but because it's boring. There's no excitement in saying no to small purchases. There's no dopamine hit in being disciplined. But that's exactly why it works, because almost nobody else is willing to do it consistently. A slightly uncomfortable truth. If you're constantly saying, I just need to make more money, but you're not controlling how you spend the money you already have, more income won't fix the problem. It'll just scale it. You'll go from spending $10 a day to spending $30 a day. Same behavior, bigger numbers. The real power isn't the money you save. It's the awareness you build, because once you see where your money is actually going, you can't unsee it. Look, you don't need a complicated budget. You don't need to track every penny. You don't need to give up everything you enjoy. You just need one simple filter, one small question, 1 second of awareness, because that's the difference between drifting financially and actually being in control. So here's what I want you to do. For the next 7 days, use the $1 rule on every non-essential purchase. Just try it. No pressure to be perfect, just observe what changes, and then come back and tell me, did it actually make a difference? If this video helped you see your money a little differently, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Because trust me, the small decisions, they're the ones that change everything.